we flew up to Miami uh, Saturday for the Miami Open for tennis, and then it was freezing, which is all relative. And I was like in my hoodie. I'll show you my pictures. It looks like I was going skiing, and we're
That's
watching tennis.
hilarious.
It was funny, but now we're back to sunshine and warm.
I love it. It's warm here too in Los Angeles. It's like 94 today. Like it's like actually hot. We're in like a heat wave. It's crazy. I know half the country is like buried in snow and we're just like it's like a summer and winter. So
Yeah, in fact, somebody here is from Buffalo, New York, which I lived up in Northeast Vermont back many moons ago when I was a ski racer. And,
wow.
so I know Buffalo, it's quite cold. Not very much looking at following your lead with snow taking a toll on us.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was sick of it. My goal is to never hold a snow shovel again.
I love
Well,
it. I've never even held one once.
are you from Cali, always?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm born and raised here.
Well, that's great. Yeah, you don't have to do it. Although it's funny, I know do you know Colorado has one of the highest populations of scuba diving clubs in the country, and Florida has one of the highest populations of ski clubs in the country. It's like total human condition. We want to be somewhere
That's
where we're not.
the
Right.
grass is always greener, right?
That's what they say. Yeah.
Hmm.
So what's going on in your world? Tell me all about you since we just met about 7 minutes ago.
Right. Well, I'm just over here helping people grow on LinkedIn, helping freelancers and solopreneurs land more clients and grow their personal brands. Um, and yeah, that's what I'm doing. I have a Substack all about it. And during the day, I uh I run my agency. I'm a seven-figure copywriter and I have a LinkedIn ghostwriting and management agency. And then on the side, I help people, like I said, I have my Substack and I help people land clients and freelancers, find jobs. I have a job board on my Substack called the Bread Board. And yeah, I'm just here to help everyone else make more money as a solopreneur.
That's awesome. And so how do when you say land jobs doing what?
I help freelancers that want to land clients and opportunities in writing and digital marketing. So really anyone that's, I started, when I was having my agency and doing my own thing. I a lot of people would be like, "Well, how are you getting clients?" or "How are you, doing all this?" And then that's kind of what sparked me wanting to, help people and be like, "Oh, well, it's actually not that hard. You just do XYZ, XYZ." And that kind of snowballed into me, having, first I had a Facebook group and then that morphed into a Substack, which I love because I love this. I love being able to go live, reach people. It's just the best. So I'm like Substack for life now. To me, it's been the best. I've connected with so many great people, and through my Substack, been able to help a lot of freelancers and solopreneurs, land more clients and create strategic personal brands.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, I still am on LinkedIn
Mhm.
for a long time. We do similar things. But
Uh-huh.
um yeah, but I love Substack. The truth is I don't even really check into LinkedIn much anymore. I have a team that does that because it is just very automated and very um AI. It's
There's a
all
lot of slop on there. I literally just have a newsletter that I wrote yesterday that's coming out Tuesday that's about like the AI slop and like what's winning right now on LinkedIn.
yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's a formula, and it's a lot of work and elbow grease. I mean, it depends what your outcomes are. Honestly, I was on another, live, like, 2 hours ago
Oh, good shit.
because I was away for, like, 5 days, and the way they got scheduled, I was on
Mhm.
another one, and we were talking about what's really important 'cause I do different types of work too, but everybody, I think whatever business you're starting or doing or whatever it is you love to do, you have to set the right expectations. And so whatever it is you're doing and what and Jeanette is doing and what Dennis is doing might not line up with your goals or visions or your
Mhm.
business model at all. And so I think there's so much AI, there's so much technology, there's so many tools and everything, and it's not a one size fits all. And you don't need to know them all either. You need to know like a couple and go deep on them, and you can add things that work for you and remove the ones that aren't. But you can't just do everything the same as everybody else. It doesn't work.
That's an excellent point, right, it's like you could there's templates, there's tools, there's blanketed advice, but at the end of the day, you have to do what's gonna work best for you and your business.
Yeah. And so what got you into doing all that? Like what was your background originally? Was it in marketing?
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm gonna tell the story to all of you, which is the story that I tell every person when I get on like a client, like a potential client call, a discovery call, and eventually a potential client will say, "So, like, who are you? You know, tell me about yourself, Anjanette." And this is what I always say. I say, "Well, when I was 19, my parents were like, 'Get a job.' And I was like, 'No.' And they're like, 'No, you have to.' I was like, 'Fine.' And so I went and I looked up and I found a job that said, 'Make lots of money,' with like $5 signs on it. I was like, works for me. This is exactly what I'm llooking for. So I called, and then I speak for a few minutes and they go, "You're hired. Show up tomorrow in Van Nuys, California." And I said, "Okay." I hung up the phone. I go back to my parents and I go, I just got a job in like 5 minutes. This whole getting a job thing is like really easy." And they're like, "Okay, this doesn't sound shady at all." Anyway, so the next day I went to show up to the job, and the reason that they hired me so quickly within 5 minutes, because it turned out to be a commission only job in a boiler room. And, you know, you just need warm bodies, and who's ever going to sell is going to sell. And because I was so young and naive, I was like, "Oh, this just must be what work is. Oh, you mean I only get out of it what I put into it, and I may not get paid unless I make money?" I was like, "That sounds legit." So I started working, and again, because I was so young and naive, I just listened to whatever the managers said to me, and I just kinda, like, took everything in like a sponge, and I ended up becoming, like, a top salesperson there, and so, but what I really always wanted to do was write, so, you know, that it was just like a survival job, and so I would say copywriting really marries my 2 biggest strengths, which is writing and sales. And then my copywriting, you know, I made over 7 figures as a copywriter, and then that kinda morphed into, what I'm doing now, which is I'm still doing copywriting, but I also have a heavy focus on doing lead generation and, LinkedIn profile management for founders and CEOs.
Sweet. And then, so what is some of your, because people are going to have these types of questions
Mm,
when they're listening to us talk about this stuff. So what are some of the mistakes? I think we're going to get to like, what are some of the techniques or tricks or
mhm.
tools or whatever that we can use to reach more people and get more sales. But what are some of the, why don't we start with the mistakes? What are some of the mistakes you see people make on LinkedIn or in any
And
online social endeavor?
that's a great question, and I feel like I'm very well qualified to answer, because not only do I have like 23,000 followers on LinkedIn, but I have like scaled like multiple platforms. Like on the early days of Twitter, when it was still called Twitter, I had over 30,000 followers. I built a YouTube channel to over 250,000 followers. Like I've been able to master like several platforms, and there is only one reason. There's one key to every social platform out there, no matter what it is. Do you want to know what? Do you want to know the key? The
I wanna
secret?
know the key. Does anybody else wanna know the key? I bet everybody wants to know it.
Yeah, hit the heart button if you wanna know.
Yeah,
Here's the secret to succeeding on any single social platform. The answer is consistency.
absolutely.
And that sounds like, "Oh, no, you don't even know, guys. So many people, maybe you're one of them, will start to post, be like, 'Yeah, okay, I'm gonna get in. I've got my brand in. I'm, like, gonna get in. I'm gonna,' and then you do it for, like, a month. And a month is a long time. A lot of people quit, like, within the first 2 weeks. You should have received a prize, yes. But everyone everyone usually falls off. People will be like, "Oh, yeah," they'll go, and then life happens. They don't have it baked. They have no system that they follow every week to make it happen. So when life happens, as it always does, they don't, they don't post. So they go, and then the more they don't post, they're like, "Oh, I didn't post this week," and "Oh, I guess, well, nothing really changed, so I'm not gonna post this week," and "Oh, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna post today." Then they post and nothing happens. It's like, well, I guess it really doesn't matter if I don't post tomorrow because, nothing happened that yesterday. And it just, and then before you know it, you don't post on any social platform and then you're upset that you have no following. I have had this particular newsletter for about 3 years. No, I haven't been on Substack 3 years, but I started my newsletter about 3 years ago. In those 3 years, I have not missed one weekly email. And I post religiously on LinkedIn. I post 6 times a week. In the last like I started taking that seriously about like a year and a half ago. I haven't missed a single day during that 6 weeks. And it all comes down to systems. Like I know, oh, this is my content time. It's just a non negotiable. This is the time of week where I spend an hour and I batch my content for the week. Or this is, I have to carve out time to write my newsletters. And now I'm up to 3 newsletters a week. I have a free one, a paid one for more advanced technologies. And then I have the breadboard, which is my freelancing job board that I post every Wednesday. So I'm busy. And I run an agency. I have like a whole business that like pays the bills. And so with all that, consistency is the key to anything. But you have to
Yeah,
actually mean it, not just know it. You have to do it.
I agree 100%. Yeah, most people, just not quitting alone, even if you don't like continue to grow and learn, and what you need to do,
Sure.
adapt, pivot, like do all the things you need to do as a business owner.
Mhm.
If you just do, even if you don't do all those things, which you need to,
Uh-huh.
even if you don't though, if you just don't quit, you'll at least make some progress. That's the
Right.
biggest thing people do. And I think the problem, or the reason that happens is because unreasonable expectations. And I
Mhm.
think that's not even our fault. I think, most people are, you're scrolling on Instagram reels and you're like, "Oh, well, this 16-year-old kid sold an app for $1 billion, or now why can't I make any money?" And, those are well, there's 2 things. One, that's either a lie, which is likely the case, or they're extreme outliers. It's really,
Right.
yeah, it does happen, but you can't compare yourself to that, and, um, and you're not even qualified to. So it's like, I think you have to set the right expectations, who you are you in alignment with who you are, what you like to do? And that's really important piece. It's like, "Oh, well, this person is real successful, um, but do I even wanna do that, or do I am I just trying to make some money?" So, there's a lot of moving pieces, and running a stable, profitable business is really hard. It's one of the hardest
Right?
building it from scratch. It's one of the hardest things besides raising kids that you'll probably ever do, and I think that it's a
I did
glam.
both.
Yeah,
The hell's wrong with me?
yeah, that is. So you drink a lot.
I know, I know, right? I should.
Right. No, but it's true. I mean, like, you have to have a good idea and you have to execute it well, and you have to do it consistently, because most overnight success stories take like 2,000 nights,
Oh,
actually. Like 5 years is the average.
isn't isn't that the truth? I mean, yeah, and I think there's a really good point in there for all of us is that like it's so easy to scroll on whatever your, platform of choice is and be like, "Oh, this person is, has this and this person has it." Like the comparison thoughts are so intrusive and it's so easy to like go down that rabbit hole. And that's obviously like, you have to be able to set up some guardrails for yourself to not, I fall victim to it all the time too. It's so easy, but it's like you have to always just know you're running your own race and you're in your own lane. You have to just keep going at your
All the
pace.
time. Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think, when to get back to that alignment piece, because I work with a lot of people, and I always start, whether it's like a real high level business person or
Mhm.
a early stage entrepreneur, solopreneur. It's the same thing. What is your vision? What's your goal that we're actually shooting for? Now, the vision can change, the goals can move around, you could pivot and move, but you have to have a starting point. And most people don't even have that. You need to have a purpose. Like, why am I waking up this morning? People always say, "Oh, I want to retire when I'm 35." but the goal is to never retire, but the goal is to just
Such a
not
good
have to work, right? That's the
such
difference.
a
We
great
need
point.
Yeah, we need to have a purpose. We need to have a reason to kick the covers off and put our feet on the ground every morning. Otherwise,
Mhm.
you get into that's where, like, addictions come from, distractions, doom scrolling, watching porn, eating when you're not hungry, doing all these things to distract ourselves because I don't have purpose.
That is so true because what's so funny is I used to always say like, "I just wanna retire, I just wanna retire, I just wanna retire." That was I literally have a shirt. I own a shirt that says "Ready to retire." I should have worn it today. No, but I used to think like retirement was the end goal and like, I'm gonna retire early and blah, blah, blah. But then, recently, over the last year or so, I was like, "You know what?" I realized, 1, I'm just too much of like a busy person. Like I enjoy the work too much to ever retire. And 2, it's like, you're right. The purpose is not to retire. The purpose is to, keep going, just doing what you love.
Purpose-driven living a purpose-driven lifestyle in alignment with your values, like who you are, which is the
Mhm.
reason why this whole system doesn't work. Now we're getting into some of my, hot points, but it's like,
Yeah.
the whole system was designed and it worked fine. I mean, like, we had this growing country many decades ago, and so we built this system that supported all that, and
Mhm.
the system was it was like there was, like, plants, manufacturing plants, and we were like a manufacturing country growing, and so we trained everybody to live and do these jobs, and for decades it worked because in order to live in the system, you don't have to follow the rules. You could do anything you want, but if you want paved roads and like music venues and nice grass and parks to go to and stuff, you have to pay
Mhm.
taxes, and then you have to work to live in that world. But sitting in the cubicle doesn't work anymore. It makes you depressed. It's really a losing battle. You're never going to make enough money to outdo inflation and do all the things
Right.
you do. So you have to build your own thing. And so you need to have somebody to show you how to do that because there's a lot of talented doctors, lawyers, and all these other
Mhm.
dentists, everybody that are really good at their craft, but they don't know how to run a business or build a business.
So true.
Yeah, they're 2
So
different
true.
things. And so a
100%.
lot of them will start a practice and they'll put millions into it and it fails 'cause you don't know how
Right.
to run a business.
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you need to have wait, let's read some of there's, like, all this stuff coming in. So somebody says they have too much purpose. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So retirement is the end goal, uh, is the job is sucking the life out of you. Yes, if the job is sucking the life.
Yes.
Well, that's what we're talking about. That's what I was kind of trying to get to and maybe got sidetracked because I drank too much coffee, is that if you're living a purpose-filled life, like, if it's something you actually wanna do instead of the job that was designed for us by our parents and teachers and everything years ago, then you're excited to do that, and you don't wanna retire. And Steve Jobs talked about that, and he wasn't a great human, but he was a brilliant entrepreneur. And
Sure.
he's like, "You have to have the vision, and the vision pulls you." And we all spend so much time pushing, and that's what causes so many problems.
Great points. Great point. No, I love it. So, how can we since we're here, let's assume everyone on here that wants to, is pursuing or living their purpose of like being a solopreneur, doing their own thing. Everyone on here is someone that's a self-starter. What's another channel they could be using to grow their business and thus growing their purpose, doing what they want to do. And I like to say LinkedIn is that channel that for most service-based businesses uh in the B2B space, LinkedIn is the place to be.
I agree 100%. Yeah, and it's helped me build an amazing life, LinkedIn, and I spent many years doing it, which is why I have the following that I do. But it wasn't easy, and there was a lot of stress and, uh, a ton of work. 7, 8, 9 years ago when I started doing that, I would spend 6 hours a day on LinkedIn, and I was building, like, relationships, and I built many businesses, and I have teams doing all types of things now.
Mhm.
But it started with just a post, and then the next day a post, and the next day, and then what happened was I think people started the wrong way. They're like, I want to do this, and then they try to fit what they want to do into a market, and that's not the way it works. Like, I had to do a lot of work, and I had to figure out what people actually wanted, and then I started building services and products around that instead of
Okay,
wasting tons of money.
that is such a great point, and so, like, even my own business has taken, like, several evolutions. Like I said, it started just, like, as a copywriter. It's taken, different evolutions, and all of those evolutions have always been based on, like, client feedback. Like, what does your client want? What do your readers want? Whether it's Substack or your own, business that pays the bills, what does your customer, it's almost like, so I heard I'm a parent, and I heard, a tip way long ago, 'cause, think about this, think about all of us growing up. We all probably were like, as teenagers, kids, whatever, we probably were always like, "Oh, when I'm a parent, like, I'm gonna let my kid have candy," or "I'm not gonna be this kind of parent where, like, I, like, yell at my kids," or "I'm not gonna be this," we all have this idea of what kind of parent we're gonna be, whether we have kids or don't. We kind of always, I think it's innate, especially when based on what your parents have done to you, you always think, "Well, I'll do this differently," or da da. And I heard something, a long time ago where someone said, wise said, you can't parent, you can't choose your parenting style. You have to parent for the child you have. And it's like, it's so true. And like, I have 2 children, and they couldn't be like, what's funny is they get along. I have a boy and a girl. They get along so well, but they are complete yin and yang. They are so totally different. And the way I speak to one child does not work the way I speak to the other. And that was such a profound realization. And I think it 100% carries over to business. And I have always had in mind what I want to do, and I know what I want to, what feels good to me, and but if I don't tailor that to what my audience really wants, like, I'm not going to make a dollar, or maybe I'll make a few dollars, but it's like, if you really want to, really, uh, skyrocket your business, or at least like really just start a real chain of momentum, you have to solve the problem. I have 2 examples of this just in the last month, everybody. So on my LinkedIn side, I offer ghostwriting and profile management for founders and CEOs. Been doing great. I've been doing that consistently for the last couple years. Everything's great. And then I started losing a few clients, and I'm just like, what's going on? Like, why, like, I'm doing everything. You can see, like, look, your impressions are out. Like, I'm doing what you paid me to do. Why do you want to stop working with me? And then, 3 in a month, like, it said to me, just even over the holidays, like, I just thought I would be getting more leads. I want more leads, blah, 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 blah. And so then I was like, well, shit, then I got to give you leads. So then I added a lead generation service onto what I'm doing. And I realized, like, oh my God, people say they want ghostwriting a persona on LinkedIn, but what they really want is leads. And it took this. So now I'm having a lot more synergy by giving that. On Substack, I have a paid tier, and, I've done okay with it, and then about a month ago, I launched the Breadboard, which is a weekly job board for writing and digital marketing opportunities. And as soon as I did that, boom, like, I think my paid subs are up like 30% in a month. Like, I mean, I re I and it's all because once you finally tap into what people really want, you really see those money streams, I'll call it, start to move. So I cannot stress enough how important it is. And what my audience wants today and what my clients want today could change in 6 months. And it's like, you always have to be listening to what your people really, really want to hear, and what they want from you.
Yeah, it can change in 6 days,
Mm.
and sometimes it does.
Oh god, don't say that.
Yeah,
I can't
every
keep pivoting that much, Dennis.
Yeah, and everything changes, and I think it's important, start that's why I always said we start with the vision. What's your vision? In fact, there's somebody on here earlier who's typed something, and he, signed up for my, crazy $99. I'm taking on 100 people at $99 because I'm crazy, and, but he's gonna be there. I'm gonna start him out the same way. I work also with high level CEOs and founders, but also low level, early stage entrepreneurs, not low level,
Uh-huh.
same
I
level.
know what you meant.
Yes, and we're all the same level. But anyway, it's the same thing. What is your vision? What is your goal, your dream? Do you want Ferraris and beach houses and all these things, or are you happy in a cabin? Like, whatever it is, you have to define it and then work towards it. And there's different ways to get there, and they're different for all of us. And now with AI, it's easy. Everybody's putting out the exact same stuff. And, years ago,
Hi, Daniel.
if you have a website 20 years ago. I started doing online business stuff. I had my first big business was a rare coin company. And this is in
Ah,
2005. And I was selling millions of dollars in coins every year. And I had a website and there was no competition. I had no
yeah.
competition. And uh, that's what set me apart was I had a website. I had
Right.
technology 20 years ago. And now after 20 years of all these tools and AI and technology, what sets you apart now is a human presence, right?
Yes.
Full circle now. So it depends on what your business model is, and it's important to know that. And it's so cool that there's so many tools and there's so much data out there. And if you have like a, a t-shirt company or a phone case
Mhm.
company, you don't want to talk to people all day. You wanna sell, thousands of those every day, and they cost 10 or 20 or $30. You just wanna ship them all over the world, get them out of here. But if you have a high ticket service where you're talking to people and it costs thousands of dollars, you can't automate that. And I think that's a big problem that people are doing right now. You can't automate your content, you can't automate your communication. You can automate some of the processes, but you need to create a human connection, and that's part of the brand building, whether it's on LinkedIn or Substack. Substack is great because it's a lot of more humanness inside of our stuff.
Yes, I completely agree. I love Substack. I'm so team Substack, and I'm team LinkedIn. Like those are my two main platforms because I feel like Substack has amazing connection. Like doing these lives, I feel like it's way better than a LinkedIn live. I feel like doing a Substack live is fantastic. And on LinkedIn, you really want, that is the easiest and fastest place to build your personal brand in front of the right people. No point in having a brand if your ideal clients are not there. But the way to build your personal brand on LinkedIn is through consistent posting, you know, connecting with your target, avatar on through your connections. Every day you want to be sending 20 to 25 connections daily to your ideal client. And then engagement, you have to be commenting and doing the, I call it like the LinkedIn triangle. That is what's going to get you to that's what's going to help you snowball your personal brand. And then once you're known, and this is my favorite part. This is also what I love about what I'm doing right now because I really narrowed it down even just in the last couple of months, even though I feel like I've been doing this for years. I really honed in, what do people want, especially right now in the state of the economy and AI and blah, blah, blah. People want more money, right? People want more clients. So they either want, when I speak to my freelancers and solopreneurs, like you guys here, what do you guys want? You want more clients. So I'm here to help you land more clients. I literally have a workshop called How to Land Clients on LinkedIn. You can find on my Substack, and that's why I have the breadboard to help you find jobs on LinkedIn. And then on my client side, on my agency side, I'm helping the founders and CEOs land more clients, not only with their personal brands, but through active outreach and lead generation. And the best thing you want is inbound leads and outbound leads. You need both. A lot of times people are like, well, if I build my personal brand, people will just come to me. Yes, but it takes a long time for that to compound. And why would you wait when you can also be doing outbound at the same time? So you want to be focused on inbound leads and outbound leads. And if I can help direct people to more of that in their lives, then I feel like I've done my job.
Yes, and there's such a great opportunity to do that too. I think we send about 7,000 messages a month between on LinkedIn,
Wow.
or my team does that. But
How do
there's
you do
different ways.
7,000? You can't wait, hang on, time out. Wait, I need to know. especially because I'm in this business. How do you send 7,000 messages a month and not get your account banned? How are you doing this?
Yeah, and it used to be we used to send more, but then it was like 5 years ago, they it was just too spammy, so
No,
they
I know
started.
you can't. That's why I only send like 20, 25 messages a day. How the heck are you sending are you doing this across multiple accounts?
No, we do this just on my account, which is a big account, and I think but it doesn't matter because it's all the same amount of, uh, messages you're allowed to send. But
Right.
there's different ways to do it. So there's
Let's
I can go through it. It's actually
Yeah, let's go through it.
we provide similar services, but we kinda nailed it. We mastered it, but it's taken a long time. But you can send depending on your level of, LinkedIn-ness, you can send, between 100 and 200 connection requests, which you were just talking about, every week. So
Right.
you wanna max those out. Totally.
Yes.
So, for me, we think it's about 200, I'm not sure, we've pushed it over that sometimes. So, you wanna max that out, which is like 25 a day, I think. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah. But right,
But
no, I hear you. Right, right. Do you have your
right,
team you have someone on your team doing it, right? Yeah,
yeah, so that's
same.
800 right there. And then we send out also, uh then we have Sales Navigator, and we're also sending out if you want, I'll show you. You guys wanna see you guys are getting some high quality shit.
You are. I love it. Let's do it.
And now we can share screens. This is stuff that I do, and, you're gonna like seeing some of this stuff, I think.
Mhm,
So this is stuff I charge a lot of money for.
mhm. I know everyone we're getting the inside scoop today.
Yeah. So, let's see.
And then I have another question for you, Dennis.
Okay.
I'm the interviewer now.
Yeah, and that's
I've taken over. I've
oh,
taken
no, no,
over.
no, no. No, we're all on the same team.
I know.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
I wanna hear okay, I wanna hear what you're saying first, then I have a really important question that I
Right,
have
there's
to
2
ask.
things. So first of all, let wait, before I show you this, which I will, I'm gonna show you this, but the first thing I wanna go through is, like, there's different you have to remember, you have to start with your vision. We always start when I start working with clients, there's 4 things that we always do. The first one, I have a questionnaire, which helps you, get really deep on what it is you're actually doing, because people don't know that. You'd be surprised how many people don't know. If I say, "What do you do?" And they're like, well, I went to
I do
college
work
in Michigan 20 years ago, and
right.
now
Oh my god, yes, all the
and
time.
nobody gives a shit. You
I
need
do
to know
marketing.
10 seconds. Yeah, 10 seconds.
What does
What
that
do you
mean? Right.
yeah, and so you need to know that, and when you do, then you can start creating plans around that. The other thing that we do is then the business plan. And the business plan, it sounds trite and kind of, boring or whatever, and it never goes according to plans anyway. But you need to have a starting point, and you need to
Right, you
know
gotta start somewhere.
what's the structure of your business? What are you trying to actually do? What are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, or threats? What's your finances? What's your marketing plan? You need to have an honest inventory of where you are in order to begin so you can get where you want to go at the right pace. And then you need to have a personal brand strategy, which is separate from what I do. And you need to know that too, is because
Mhm,
what do you talk about?
mhm,
Not because you love it so much as what do your ideal clients, based on your vision and business plan, want to hear from you, right?
mhm,
And all this needs to be done. And when you're done writing your vision plan, because people always write the business plan, but they forget to write a vision plan. What
mhm,
is your vision for your life? What's your mission statement? What are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat? What's your budget?
mhm,
What write all these things down. And when you're done with your
mhm,
vision plan, put it on a vision board.
mhm.
That's how vision boards happen. It used to be we used to go and cut out
Got it,
magazines and
right.
stuff, but now you just open up a PowerPoint, and in case you guys think I'm
Or a
full of shit,
Pinterest board
or a
even.
Pinterest board, and in case you guys think I'm full of shit, then I'm gonna show you my vision board right, uh, here. This is my vision board, and I
So, like,
look
I'm gonna
at it
see the
every
beach. Oh,
yeah,
I do.
and I look
Uh,
at it every morning, and so I like being fit. This is my house. Where we live in this nice neighborhood, but this is the house down the street that I actually want, and so it's on
uh-huh.
my vision board. So I tune into it, and when you tune into your vision, your mind subconsciously works on what it is you want.
Mhm,
Even when you turn this off, your mind is still working on how do I get there, right? So
mhm,
I do a lot of investment stuff. These are some of the companies. I like to travel. This is my stuff. my wife, like all these things that we do, you
Mhm.
have to have it down. And then once you do that, then you can create a strategy. And so from there, then we go into what is it you're trying to do. So right now, what I do is I take everybody from my LinkedIn to my
Mhm.
Substack. So
Mhm.
it used to be I did a lot of outreach for similar things that you're talking about through
Sure,
you,
sure.
but then right now my whole goal is to get everybody to Substack. So in
Mhm.
every post I write, and I have 1,000,000, two
Is it?
million impressions a week, and they
Mhm.
all go to back to Substack. So
Mhm.
everything I do, it's like the Substack LinkedIn flywheel. And
Right.
that's my goal now. So the whole reason I even told you all of that stuff was um, because that's why our message now is tailored to that.
Sure, sure.
So did you have more questions or do you want me
Oh,
to
yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, I have a big question. Okay,
Okay.
so here's the question, and this is okay. So I know, and this is for everybody as well, because you guys need to know. There's a lot of tools out there, a lot of automation tools,
I
and
use
linked.
zero automation.
Yes, and yes, because, LinkedIn will bans automation tools. Even if you're not using automation tools, sometimes they ban. So this is my question to you, Dennis. With all your outreach, and I wanna hear a little bit more about that. With all your outreach, how are you not getting your account bound? Now, Dennis has over 200,000 followers on LinkedIn, so he's like a big wig on LinkedIn. But how do you not get are you constantly getting, dinged, like, getting warnings on your account? Or because
No,
I've even gotten warnings on my account and I don't use any automation tools. So it always makes me, I always like to stay extra conservative. So I want to know, tell me, how are you sending all these messages per week?
right. No, so it's not 7,000 per week, per month.
Even per month. That's still a ton. That's still more than 20 a day.
It is. So I'll get into all of it. This is fun, actually. This is good value stuff. So there's different types. So I just told you there's different ways to reach people, and there's different ways that you can reach people, and it also takes a long time. We don't sit down. You can't send 7,000 messages at the same time, so
Yeah.
it needs to be more organic. And
Hmm.
so there's um, you have to have Sales Navigator to really to do
Of
this.
course.
Now, Sales Navigator is a convenience tool. You could do most searches on regular LinkedIn, but there's one reason to pay $99 a month, and I'll show it to you right now. It's for let's go in. We'll use this one here right now. This is the one we're using right now. And so when you do your whatever it is that you're trying, whoever it is you're trying to reach,
Hmm.
you want to filter it down as much as possible. So you get down to like a few hundred, and then you just connect with all those because
Sure.
Um, you got it nailed down. And then this right here is the button you pay $99 a month for. So it's the posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. Because if they didn't post, there's LinkedIn likes to claim there's a billion people, but there's not
Right.
a billion active accounts.
Mm-hmm.
But once you nail your searches down, uh,
Hmm.
you click on this, and from here you'll go from like, or let's see. Although I have a pretty targeted niche right now, so it's already
Sure.
pretty. But let's see where it's at. So, posted on LinkedIn means they posted in the last 30 days. So, let's just say, like, let me go home and start a fresh search. So, if you do like, let's see, I don't know, tell me one of your searches. So, or if you're like a certain industry, like
Oh,
manufacturing,
oh, yeah, yeah. Like founders, that like CEOs, and
right?
let's say
Well,
tech
let's just do founder. So, watch it.
founders,
So,
founders.
founder, this is how you use. Everybody's getting a LinkedIn, how to use LinkedIn
Hmm.
Sales Navigator
Hmm.
uh, lesson here for outreach,
Hmm.
for cold outreach.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of warm because we're doing only second degree connections. But
Mhm.
anyway, founder, my old search with the surgeons and stuff, they're very limited. So we do second and third, but for the most part, we do just second. And I'll show you why in a second. So if you start with founder, there's 10 million. There's no way to
Right.
practically reach 10 billion. So you want to get that down to as little as possible. So from founder right here, you can, if you're trying to nail a certain company, that's one way you can do it.
Mhm.
Um, but let's see, current job title. So we can go founder. Remember, we're starting at 10 million here. So let's do include founder. We could do founder. We can have co-founder. We already got it down to 4 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's go to what was the other one?
Past 30 days and
Entre-
second degree connections.
so entrepreneur. I mean, like you could really
Mm-hmm.
get more granular here. Let's see. So there's 6 million. Why don't we stop there? Geography, this one narrows it down quite a bit. So now what I do in terms of the United States is I'll target cities, specific cities. So like Chicago, LA,
The
Miami.
big cities.
Yeah, big cities. Where people spend. Not all big cities spend. So
Right.
say we'll pick let's just pick United States for now and see where we're at. So now we're getting it down. Remember, we started at 10, so now we're down to 1 million. Let's just pick the Bay Area right here. That's a good market right there. The reason that's a hard market is because everybody says they're an expert.
Right.
Hey, San Francisco, everybody is already an expert. So it's not always the best market, but that's a good way to narrow it down. So anyway, we're down to 1 million now. And let's get this one here. Now let's go connection. I only want second degree connections because that's a warm lead. There's another reason I'm going to show you in a second. So second degree connection, now we're down to 520,000. And then this one posted on LinkedIn. So this will narrow it down to
significantly.
I think 200,000. So that's a good starting point. If you want, you can start here. Founder is pretty broad, so you should really be more niche than that unless you already have a huge following. And but let's just start here. Now, this is one of the things that makes it so you can send more messages. Because with Sales Navigator, they give you how many? I think it's 50 InMail credits per month.
I can't. My assistant uses it.
Yeah, so it's 50. So you can blow through 50 in like 10 minutes.
Right,
so
right.
That's not a good way to do it. But if you see, if the account users have their account set to open a profile, then you can send out as many as you want, but not all at the same time. And now the reason we target most people with the gold LinkedIn is because there's two reasons. One, the default to a premium LinkedIn membership is open profile. That means that I can send them a message and it says free to open profile. So that means you're not using your email credits and you could just be pumping out lots of these in moderation. Like you can send them throughout the day, but they need to look more organic, right? So we'll send 5 or 10 at a time, maybe a little more, but don't push it too much.
So how many messages are you sending a day, Dennis?
I'm not sure what we're doing now. I would have to ask and see, but I mean, at least 100 or more, right?
A day,
at least. Yeah.
And you're never getting back because this is like eye opening, even just for my own business. Because like I cap it at like 25 a day because I'm not like and this question. So because what I do is you are sending it. You're sending the connection request, and then you're sending the message. Are you sending the messages before they accept your connection request?
No, those are separate. They're two different things.
Right.
So we're sending the messages, the connection request is one way, and we have a message inside the connection request.
Same. So, yes.
And then we're also sending the messages separately.
Gotcha. So even people that you're not connected with.
Right. So that all starts adding up. And then, I mean, that's about all I'll give out on this one. But the other thing is that with these, that will help you. Yeah. All right. We're good here. So the next one is also this one. And this one's extremely important is that you want to also send out to your first degree connection. So this is why it's so important to build a quality network. You'll see I have like 200,000 followers, but I don't have 200,000 connections.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, first of all, LinkedIn caps at 30,000.
Like 30, right? Yeah.
But I don't accept anybody's connection request unless I know them or they're my ICP. And so
Mhm.
what happens if you start doing that, as you're doing outreach, you'll collect only your ICP. And then you also want to have, I'm building a high quality network of
Mhm.
people that I can continue to communicate with, whether I'm launching courses or doing, I only have 11,000 really good connections. Now I have a quality network. So if I'm doing something on Substack, if I'm having courses, workshops, master classes, all these things that I'm doing, then I can reach out to them and I also send them messages too. And then I get them to also read Substack. So the main thing I do now on Navigator is just sending people directly to Substack. I just tell people
Mhm.
I have a newsletter called, or I forget the exact verbiage actually of
Mhm.
everything.
Right, but you're looking to funnel. No, yeah, and I found like there's a lot of synergy, assuming obviously you're talking about the same thing. You have like this similar topics. There's a lot of synergy between LinkedIn and Substack. For
Yeah,
some reason, I feel like I funnel a lot of people from LinkedIn to my Substack as well, and it works really nicely. Like both messages, I mean, both audiences really mesh well together.
absolutely. Yeah, and don't stop. And that's where the consistency comes in. So it's like
Consistency.
the other thing is this is like I didn't show you everything. We have lots of
Sure.
really cool things that we do. And the thing is like you really have to nail the messaging. And it can't be
Hmm.
salesy. This is where you're having a brand. We have to remember, like, you have all this stuff takes a really long time. It takes a really long time. And I want people to understand that. And it's really hard to do. I don't ever tell anybody all that bullshit like, oh, I'm going to teach you everything. And next month you're going to be making 100 grand a month in your underwear, working 1 hour a day. That pisses me off. And in fact, I
Right.
have groups, I have LinkedIn groups, I have all these groups on the back end. And I paste those posts when I see them into the groups. I say, don't buy this shit. It pisses me
Right.
off. And they pay big money to run those. You could pay 100 grand a month in Facebook ads and get, people to sign up for your crap. And then it's a working business model that sucks, but people,
Right.
and I hate it. So this stuff takes time. You want to build a brand that people know, like, and trust. And then over time you monetize that.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think it's the real question at the end of the day with everything we've been talking about, is you need to really ask yourself, forget, do you have purpose? Forget if you like it, forget, it's just, you have to really ask yourself, am I really willing to put in the work? Because it's like, yes, there's a payoff, but the payoff doesn't come without the work. And even when you get the payoff, like there's always more. You're never going to stop wanting. I always thought like, oh, if I get X amount of dollars, I'll be good. If I get X, the goalpost is always going to move. That's why I never retire. The goalpost is always going to keep moving. So you have to really ask yourself before you start, whether building your personal brand on LinkedIn or doing outreach or anything, am I really gonna see this through? Am I really willing to do what it takes? Because if you're not, honestly, just get a job because it's so much easier
Yeah.
to just get a
Don't
job.
and don't quit your current job. I mean, I tell
Yes.
people this, like, I have a nice, pretty nice life, but it
Mhm.
was really hard to get here, and I lost some relationships, I've had health problems, like, I don't have money problems, but I have other problems, like,
Mhm.
there's, like, this is just life, and it took a really long time to get where I am,
Mhm.
and, I just wanna set that expectation for people, is that you have to do the work, and the
Mhm.
work, it's really long, and it's boring and tiring sometimes,
Mhm.
and we make it look exciting, like, when you see a post go up, I mean, now with AI, like, if you were to condense, like, if we were to go back and look at some of my old posts from, like, a few years ago,
Mhm.
before AI, some of those things, like, if you were to take it, we used to have lots of white space. Now you don't want lots of white space because
Right.
the the thing reads it.
No,
So,
right. Yeah.
if you were to take my old posts and condense them down, it's like 1 paragraph,
Right, right.
and that post would take me, like, 2 hours to write sometimes.
Mm.
And now it's like you can write entire newsletters in
Mhm.
seconds, but
Right.
what's behind that newsletter? Like, you
Mhm.
still need to do the work.
Right, like, even with all of my personal content creation and even for my clients, do I utilize AI? 100%. It's made my workflow 1,000% better. I've been able to take on more work. I was able to get rid of writers. I was able, AI is an extremely important tool that I use daily. But even that being said, you still have to, you can't, if you rely on AI to do absolutely everything and you're not going to do any work, like, that's where you get into all the AI slop that's all over LinkedIn and everywhere. You have to still put in the energy and put in not necessarily the time, but the energy to make it to make it yours, uniquely yours.
Yeah, and it takes time, to find what is yours, like, even to, like, become one with that, and that's what alignment is, like, being in alignment with the nature of the world, being in alignment with who I am, my values, not necessarily my values, like, "Oh, don't kill people and don't rape people," like, what do I value? What do you value in your life? And then are you in alignment with that? Are you living and talking and breathing and working in alignment with that? And when you are, eventually
Mhm,
you'll become successful. And
mhm,
successful by whatever definition, but I mean, you'll have a nice life. And then you don't have to worry about uh money. There's certain things you don't have to worry about those things. Those things like are just become part of your life. Right?
mhm,
That's why being in alignment is so important. And it takes time.
mhm.
Because what
Absolutely.
you do, like, the whole, like, pitch, the elevator pitch. You get in an elevator, you have 20 seconds, everybody
Mhm,
says the universal question, "What do you do?" And
mhm,
if you can't answer that in 10 or 20 seconds and make an impact, then nobody cares, right? And
mhm.
you have to be able to define that and then get in alignment, and it could take you years to get in alignment. You have to become everybody's like, "Oh, I wanna make $10,000,000." "Well, how much do you make now?" "Well, I make 50,000." Really, you don't even know how to make $10,000,000. It's really
Right,
fucking hard. And
right.
do you know how to handle $10,000,000? Do you know how to manage a team that
Mhm.
make that happen? It's hard, so it takes time
Absolutely.
to become the person that can do that. So, anyway, that's what I was saying.
I love it. I love it. No, so, so true. Lots of great nuggets in here. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, we could do this again sometime if you'd like.
I love it.
Anybody have any questions? Do you have any closing arguments? I think I have a meeting in, like, a minute. Let me see.
Oh,
Yeah, I do.
okay. Well, we're just wrapping up our lives. So yeah, I mean, I think this was so great. I think this is great for everybody. Again, consistency. Top it up with consistency, number one, clarity of your offer. And you have to be willing to put in the work, the outreach, the posting, everything. You have to have a willing spirit to get out there even when you don't see the results right away because you will not.
That's a good point. Yeah, it takes time, but keep doing it. If you have questions for me, reach out. I have my crazy, insane $99 offer because I'm building a new community. So I'm doing $99 for one-on-one sessions with me, and then
Amazing.
personally, which is usually significantly more than that. And then for the year, the founding member thing, and that's all. And if you have anything you want to pitch, you want to squeeze in.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yes, please, sub to my Substack if you don't already. My paid tier offers the breadboard, which is my weekly job board for freelancing, writing, and digital marketing opportunities. I also have a course you can find on my Substack main page, how to land clients on LinkedIn, so you can do your own outreach. And yeah, that's it. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it
This
was
is
nice
so
chatting.
great. Thank you, Dennis, for having me.
Thank you, and Jeanette. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. We will be speaking soon.
Adios, everybody.
All right. Bye, guys.